Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. And joining me, yes, everyone, he's back, Mr. Beckham. Beckham, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Good to be back. Um, been a while, right?
Yeah, it has been a while since we've been on.
Dude, I see you're in the light tonight.
I mean, always. Just a spotlight is always just shining down. What can I say? So I actually have, you weren't here. Were you in the chat last episode I did? I can't remember. So I had my dance show, as you know, and it was my 20th season with the dance company. So they got me and another girl who was her 20th season. We got gifts. And part of what my dance team got me was like stuff for my show, which was really thoughtful and really cool. So I have like a brand new lighting system, which is like super cool. But they got me a new microphone. It changes colors. It's so cool.
Wow, look at you.
It's so cool. I love it. I love it.
That's
I thought of
expensive.
like keeping it here or something where everybody can see, but it changes colors so much. I'm like, if Paul comes in, he'll get distracted and be like, ooh, pretty colors. So we'll just
The technology for podcasting has really changed in what, 5 years? Um,
mm,
well, no, like 4 or like 4.5. But I was thinking about that the other day actually because I think my headphones are like outdated. They still work.
mhm.
They're just old now, considerably old. You know how tech stuff comes in and
Yeah.
out pretty fast. So I had never seen a mic like that changes colors. You weren't finding that in 2020 or 2021. I don't believe.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, when I was shopping for stuff when we started doing this, this was not around,
You're right.
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's so
It
cool.
looks
I just like
professional.
it's so cool. Yeah. So that was really thoughtful of my dance team.
Just
So
saying. Uh,
all right, all right. So a few just quick updates. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the work for Danny After Dark in the next couple of months, in the next year of 2025 that we're in. So stay tuned. Things will be announced and unraveling as things get closer, but there's a lot of really, really cool stuff going on behind the scenes.
I
So
can't
there
say
are,
anything yet.
huh?
I can't say anything
No,
yet.
you can't say anything yet. Beckham's the worst person to tell a secret to because
What?
Beckham's the
Oh
type to be
no, that
like,
is so wrong. I
mm,
know lots of people's secrets. Trust me.
Paul, have my back on this one. Paul, I
And
see
like
you're in the
they're
chat.
like, man, no wonder, people tell you stuff. You don't ever tell anybody anything. I'm like, I know. That's why everybody comes to me with their secrets.
They might come to you. I'll give you that they come to you with the secrets. But you're the type that's just like, hey, Danny, are we not supposed to talk about da 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 da?
No,
And then you like say it
maybe
as if,
with you, but I'm talking about other people. But I
oh,
got it.
well, okay. Anyway, stay tuned. Stay tuned. And if you think you can bribe Beckham for information, he's pretty easy. You just have to
I was
get him
gonna
a
say, come on,
coffee.
bring it.
Be a doll and get him a coffee. That's all he
Speaking of
wants.
coffee, I'll be right back because I forgot to warm up mine.
Jesus Christ. You give a guy a shirt and a candle on your merch store and he thinks he's like the best thing. And like, yeah, I'll just go off camera and get my coffee. The people can wait. Jeez, Beckham. Well, before Beckham returns, let's see who's here and get started. Hey, KMA. Danny just saying hello. I'll have to watch on replay. It's 1:30 in the morning here. Hope your live rocks. Thank you. Thank you. And I finished watching your show from earlier. So yeah, I was a bit behind. I popped in the chat when I could earlier, but thank you. Love you. Tony Stewart, is there anything better than Danny After Dark on a Friday evening? The content creator in me is thinking, duh, no. But the reality person is thinking, yeah, go hang out with a cat and read a book. I think that's a fabulous Friday evening, but who am I? Who am I? Yeah. Hey, James Watson. Hey, Renee. Hope you're doing good. Let's see. Chris James, hello. She didn't pay to say me that. Oh, yeah. No, Tony Stewart, nope. Hi, Paulcast. Donna Perry, hello. You look great, Danny. Thank you, Renee. Yeah, Beckham was commenting earlier that my hair looked different. So I got it cut and colored today. So it's a lot brighter blonde than it has been. It's been fading out a little bit. So yeah, and she took like a few inches off. So it's and blow dried it straight because y'all know I have curly hair. So it's feeling a little different tonight. But Jeffrey Boyle, long time no see, hun. How are you doing? Where's Stunty? I don't know. I have not seen Stunty in a bit. I'm so behind on like catching up on like podcasts and YouTube. I'm just so behind. But I haven't seen Stunty. I hope he's doing well. Let's see. Danny looks well. Thank you, Tony. That's very nice of you.
Oh, speaking of seeing people, guess who I saw the other night?
Who did you see the other night?
Well, was he talking about Stunty from like the music world?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Mason was on with
Mason.
with what's his name? With
Dead Wax?
No, Dead Wax is always on. Not what's his name that lived in Texas?
I don't know.
Had the wife, and then I don't know.
Kroghat?
Huh?
Kroghat?
He had the wife, and I don't know if they got divorced. I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ! I have his name in my. Anyway, he was on with Stunty. He's one of Stunty's best friends.
Oh. Yeah, not sure.
Never mind. Never mind. Oh my God. Anyway, I went on there in the chat and I was like, holy crap, it's like 2020 all over again. It was like deja vu.
Oh my God.
They were all together. And I was like, oh, did I just go back in time? And it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Blast from the past, man. Let's see. Beckham is in the chat greeting everybody as he is. Hi, Kat. Hello.
Hi, Donna. We have a new listener.
Let's see. Yes, Donna is here. Let's see. Jeffrey, I saw Stunty on a music live stream. Gotcha. Hey, Mega Zorlak, good to see you. Okay, so the Liz was supposed to be on with us, and she even had notes prepared and everything, but sick kids calling, so it is what it is. And I do want to say in advance, the Wi-Fi where I am right now is a little spotty. So if it kind of isn't as sharp as usual, my apologies in advance. But let's get the first case out of the way because there's a little bit to talk about. And Beckham's already mad at me today for not telling him that there was court. Karen Reed trial. The trial that we're all in a shock that it's still going to happen. So there's a bit to talk about. There's a few points here. So one of the things that we'll start with Beckham, actually, that Beckham has been really focusing on is if you watch the first trial, you already know the players and who we're talking about. But Brian Higgins, Beckham has been talking about Brian Higgins in regards to the timing of him being at the police station, and then the phone call he made. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, or maybe why you're focusing on that?
Well, he was the, and I have forgotten. You got to refresh people because I had to refresh myself. I didn't know like
He
who
was
was this
at the
guy.
waterfall that night
Yeah,
with
but he right. He was
John
he's
O'Keefe,
the
Karen Reed. He was
right
the officer. He worked
ATF federal.
federal, and him and Karen Reed had been sending flirty messages.
Right.
And
Hmm.
he's the one that disposed of his cell phone in two
Right.
different places
In a military base.
in a military base, and have one of his military friends try to
No,
show him how
it
to
was
delete
FBI.
everything off the
It was
phone.
an FBI cell phone analyst person, IT
Mhm.
analyst. Works for the FBI. Yeah. So, I know that he was questioned. So I had to refresh my memory on who he was exactly. He's a ATF federal agent. He has access to systems. He has, you can just know what I'm going with that. He's got
Mhm.
access to a lot of information, being a law enforcement officer, including access to a military base, which because you do have credentials and you do have security clearances, right? So that's where he would destroy the evidence, or he said he threw away the cell phone. What do you call it? The chip thing, memory chip in the cell phone.
Yeah, memory card.
Anyway, right, memory card. So like, so I was like, who's this guy? So anyway, I refreshed my memory. I was like, oh, that's the guy. And I had forgotten that he had like sort of a flirty thing going on with Karen Reed at the time, right? Um,
Mhm.
but they had questioned him, and it's almost like he was off the hook because what could you do with him? I mean, you only with him were you setting sort of like a timetable, right? Like where things were, what was going on at a certain time, and of course they did question him about the thing, but that's when Proctor came in after him, and it's like it blew everything out. Everything was completely changed when Proctor came on, right?
Hmm.
At least that's how I was seeing it. That's when I got into the case when Higgins was actually being questioned. That's when I
Yes,
kind of came.
that's right.
That's when I came into the case. That's when you told me about it, and I was like, okay, I'll turn it on in the background or whatever. And then
Yeah, things
that's
were like kind of a little sketchy, and
right
then
with
Cooper
him,
Proctor came on, and
right.
it
And
just
then
blew
when
it.
Proctor came on, right, the credibility of a key witness, or of course, well, not a key witness. He's an lead investigator of the investigation. So that took over like everything, right? You almost forgot about Higgins until recently when this new information came out about him being on the phone, on his cell phone, when he was supposedly at the police station moving vehicles at like whatever 1 in the morning.
1:26 a.m.
Right. Yeah. So that's been a thing now. And then of course, why didn't if the defense knew and Jackson and your boy, and how come they didn't really drill him about it if they knew about it? Because I think if they would have drilled him, maybe more they could have maybe really gone after his credibility as a witness. So, and that's becoming a big deal in these cases. I'm telling you, Karen Reed, the Idaho one, the credibility of key witnesses is going to, I believe, really change the outcome of these cases going forward. And that's just one of the things, other than gathering the evidence appropriately and correctly, and of course, ethically. So those two things are really those two key factors involved in these cases are going to come out to be really, I think, flipping the whole thing on these cases going forward.
Yeah. We will be touching on Idaho, Brian Koberger, in a little bit later in the
Right.
show. But yeah, Beckham brings up a good point, because yeah, it's not just the Karen Reed case where this is kind of being questioned. It's other cases in other jurisdictions. So yes, Brian Higgins will definitely be a focal point of the new upcoming trial. But in regards to things that are happening in court right now with Karen Reed, like the attorneys, they were the state and the prosecution, state prosecutors and the defense, they were in court today, and there's a lot that's being argued. So in Beckham, once I kind of get through the notes on this, oh my God, we need to talk about this. It's like, what the
It's a
hell?
lot. I mean, it's
Oh,
a
it's a
lot
lot.
going on.
Jeffrey Boyle, your comment is spot on in regards to what Beckham was just saying. Some people aren't as smart as they think they are. Like Higgins disposing of his phone to be like, oh, maybe they won't find my messages with Karen Reed on my phone, but they're on her phone.
20 years ago, they wouldn't. It's the iCloud.
Right. But still, but even without that, like
Right.
he didn't stop to think, geez, maybe these are on her phone and they'll like I don't
Yeah, you forget. They're it's everywhere. It's not gonna go away. Remember, also people forget U.S. government agencies with with subpoenas and things can get access to your social media, everything that we need, everything,
Mhm.
pictures, messages, whatever. It's there, and it doesn't even though you think you deleted your profile, it's still there.
It's just funny because like had it just been like, hey, me and her flirted a little bit and like whatever, okay. It was the
Yeah.
effort that he went to like
Right.
it,
Right.
that just like screams, look in this direction, look in this but anyway, more important things have been happening with this case. So Karen Reed's defense team is promising, which they have been doing, to file a new motion to dismiss her case. The reason they're doing that is, quote, extraordinary governmental misconduct, end quote. So a few things with that. So they're seeking the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to pay for the costs that were incurred by an expert, Matthew Erickson, that would be costing the defense $12,229.57. The reason that they're trying to get the state to pay for that is because this expert made what the defense is now saying, quote, futile trip, end quote, to travel from out of state to come here to analyze security camera footage from the Canton Police Department. Remember, Karen Reed's vehicle was towed to the Canton Police Department, like their garage where they get their cars towed. That never should have happened. It should have gone to a masked state trooper garage. It had to pass two of
Yeah.
them on
Right.
the
I
way
remember.
to get to
Right. On the
Canton,
way. Right.
which makes no sense. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, didn't this crime happen in Canton? Yes. But after John O'Keefe was found, Karen Reed drove to her parents' house in Dighton, Massachusetts. So it was quite a bit of ways. No reason it should have gone to Canton. No reason at
Well,
all.
and
The
also you got
state
to think about
troopers knew that.
yeah. What about with the weather? The weather, and can you imagine them moving it for evidence purposes, and they bypass two locations where they should have dropped it off,
Right.
and then there's a car accident, or the trucker or the tow truck guy goes off the road with it, or something, or just something happens to the car. That would have really been like, I
Ugh,
mean, I don't even, you know what I mean? That would have been like
yeah.
a shit. It was already,
K-Dog.
it's already a shit show. It would have been even worse.
So if you're thinking, okay, the security camera footage, remember part of what we saw at the first trial was the Lolliport in regards to the mirrored images with the footage that they showed. But, and this blows my mind. So when the expert for the defense, Matthew, arrived in Canton, he was invited at this time by the prosecutors to do so. It's not like he just showed up unannounced or early where the state didn't have what they needed to hand over to the defense. No. The prosecutor said, you're all set. Come down or come up here and we'll, pass it on your way. He arrives, this expert arrives in Canton and the footage was already destroyed. He came to see the footage and the prosecution in the state destroyed the footage.
Any
And they
reason
knew
why?
damn well they destroyed the footage. So
Was there
what
any reason why?
Oh, we're gonna get to. Oh! It came out. It was discussed in court today. I have
Okay,
quotes.
I didn't catch it today. Sorry, but okay, good.
So, oh gosh, yeah. So, hey, Kathy, darling, good to see you, hon. So, what Alan Jackson and, as Beckham says, my boy David Yannetti is stating, quote, because the Commonwealth failed to preserve the original video evidence, Mr. Erickson's trip to Massachusetts was futile, end quote. Accordingly, in the interest of justice, this court should order that the Commonwealth, not Miss Reed, pay the cost of having her expert travel out of state to obtain a copy of the video surveillance footage, which the Canton Police Department failed to adequately preserve. So, because of this, the defense they want to get the whole trial thrown out, saying, quote, a motion to dismiss for extraordinary governmental misconduct based on the destruction of this and other exculpatory evidence is forthcoming, end quote. So today, as I mentioned, there was court. The defense and the prosecution was in front of Judge Bev Canoni. for not just this, but for several other points. So I'm going to throw a little bit more information at y'all, but it's going to make sense. So in regards to what was discussed that we just talked about, the footage. So the defense needs to officially file this motion by February 11th to try to get the case thrown out. The Jackson and Yannetti are going to do that. So the prosecution in response to this is saying that them wanting to file this motion to get the case dismissed is, quote, a distortion of facts, end quote, and without legal merit. So Karen Reed's defense is saying, well, the footage was destroyed, quote, at best due to improper preservation by the Commonwealth, end quote. But what?
I'm sorry, it just sounds so formal. You want to just be like, why the just be beep, you mother beep, you mother beep. Why did y'all destroy the mother effing?
Like, let's just
beep,
like
beep, beep
word it all fancy. Let's word it all fancy.
I know.
No, you destroyed evidence.
That's what smart people, smart lawyers do. They just talk and make it all. Hey, Cap. Yeah. Cap wasn't on the show, but Beers wasn't there. But
thank you, Kate.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what smart lawyers do. They make it sound extremely formal and extremely fancy. So you're like, oh, just say it already.
No shit. Oh, the answer for it is, oh my God, back up. You're gonna. Oh, so remember that the state now hired special assistant district attorney Hank Brennan to assist them. He was the one that helped represent Whitey Bulger and other state, city officials, police officers who have been charged anyway. So DA Hank Brennan, in the motion filed today, said the prosecutors never represented that the footage actually still existed nearly 3 years after it was taken. He says, quote, oh God, back up, here we go. Quote, the footage simply no longer exists because of the time that has elapsed, end quote. And he said, there should be no hearing to discuss this motion. And he asked Judge Bev Cannoni just to deny what the defense is trying to do. So Judge Bev Cannoni is going to review all this and make a hearing by, I think it was, let's see, this issues likely to be raised for Thursday. A hearing for that motion is set for February 18th. So we're going to hear by Judge Bev February 18th if she kind of says, yes, the defense is right. We're going to toss the case. They're not going to toss the case. But, okay, Beckham. The prosecution in the state is trying to convict Karen Reed of a crime. It just 3 years, the 3-year mark just happened.
It's been a while. That's a long time, man.
Being hit. We're not talking about something that happened 40, 50 years ago. This was 3 years ago. And with the technology and electronics we have today to save and preserve that stuff, why would they destroy the evidence? And then they're acting like, well, why would we keep it? Am I alone
it's
here?
hard. I don't. Okay, if it's part of the crime. It's part of the no.
I don't understand.
Right.
I don't. It boggles my mind. So it's one of those. Let's destroy the original footage. Just use copies, which we've known. Hey, K-Dog, good to see you. Which we knew they used part of that to kind of flip and mirror the images in the first trial. So we can't trust anything copied because it's been altered or could be perceived to be altered. Why would you destroy evidence?
I honestly think I know why.
Okay, say it. If you don't want to say it, you don't have to.
Because it proves that she didn't back into anything. I'm gonna say it. I just said it. There you go.
There you go.
That's why it was. That's why.
But, and I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Why tell the defense's, what's it called, expert that they're flying in from another state and be like, yeah, come see the footage. He gets here and then it's like, we don't have it. We destroyed it.
Make it look more.
No, we destroyed it.
Just make it look. Yeah, because you're trying to hide. You're just trying to be like, oh, yeah, actually, I think we man, we're sorry. We don't have it anymore.
It just, I was shocked when I
It
heard that
proves
quote.
she didn't run anything over.
And that's part of
Or
what,
back in your whatever,
yeah,
revert back then.
hit Officer John O'Keefe with her vehicle. And that's what
Yep.
part of, at the first trial we heard, was when the vehicle got to the Canton Police Department, did Trooper Proctor, do something with the taillight to make it appear cracked and so on and so forth. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight, but that's really bad. This happened
When
3 years ago.
What was Higgins doing with cars at 1:30 in the morning also? And who
And
was
he was
Higgins
drunk.
talking to?
He
And
was drunk.
who was Higgins talking to on the cell? Well, I mean, that's a whole other thing there. Who was he conversing with?
He was with the people, all of that whole crew at the
Right.
waterfall.
Yep.
They were all trashed. They were all incredibly drunk. None of them should have been driving. No one should have been in this day and age. Get a friggin' Uber or a Lyft. I take Ubers and Lyfts if I need to, but he's trashed. Decides to drive to the Canton police station at 1 something in the morning. Make a one of the questions is I'm thinking is, were you coming in knowing that a call was going to be placed, or to field if there were, why? You weren't on the schedule. You drove in to move cars that you didn't need to do.
Well, I think I heard him say something about, I did it so that I wouldn't have to do it in the morning. And he didn't really say as far as what was his purpose for doing it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Was
I
it
mean,
for
there was a snowstorm, but it's
was
one
it
of
for like
those.
other people to not drive, for them, other officers to get it? And I'm not sure what the purpose was, but he made it sound like there was a purpose for it in the morning.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure there was a purpose for him destroying his SIM card and throwing it out in
It's
government
all, man.
property.
Again, bring him. I mean, if they can bring him back this go around and really drill into him, because I didn't think I bet he felt he got off the last time.
I think everybody who worked this case,
you know what I mean?
Felt they got off, except for Trooper Proctor.
Well, because I'm telling you, when that happened with Proctor, it shifted everything towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, whoever, if there was anything, and any involvement in the cover up or whatever, they were just hoping, like, hey, let her go. Like, well, it's gonna still be that way anyway, but like, let the case just go away, because I don't want to have to. I don't want my career. Like, look at Proctor. He has no more career. He's done. So everybody else is like, when we talked about this a lot while we were discussing this months ago, about how there's the chain of command and it's who's going to fall. There's going to just be a layer of just a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like Proctor was that effect, and now with Higgins, I'm telling you, he's sweating there right now.
It's one of those, the state needs to, and there's more. So there's more news about what happened today in court. We're not done. But I just want to say, the point of what the prosecution and the state needs to do, regardless of if you're on the Karen Read side or not, or you know what I mean, is to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt, so that the state and the prosecution wants Karen Read convicted. It has to be done guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And you go and destroy evidence.
This is not about it's become not even about her anymore. It's become more about the credibility of these people, these witnesses, and whoever was been around the circle of this crime or this incident, this case. Yeah. So it hasn't even been anything. Every time it's any time in the last 3 or 4 months, any information comes out about this case, it's been about the credibility of a witness.
Yeah.
And it's been and the credibility is is from the prosecution side.
Yeah, that it's lacking, completely lacking. So let's carry on, because there's more. So when Karen Read was when the mistrial happened, she did an interview for a magazine, and the reporter that interviewed her was Gretchen Voss. So she was the one that did the interview. The prosecution wants and has filed that this reporter should turn over all of her notes from that interview, including all of the off the record notes. So they were in court today. That was one of the things that was being argued. And that's a big deal, because if the judge rules that, yes, Gretchen Voss has to turn in all notes from her interview, including off the record notes, that is not good for like the whole reporter community. The reason being, and Gretchen was, she had attorneys there arguing on her behalf, stating that to share off the record notes would impact her credibility for the future, because a lot of reporters, not just her, get these, they have sources, they get these interviews, and a lot of things are said off record to protect the source.
Kind of like books are written off the record a lot.
Mm-hmm. So if this is now brought in, that's just going to open the floodgates for all these reporters to basically lose their sources or lose the trust. And it's not their fault, because, if I was someone like that, I didn't want to be named as a source, but I went to a reporter and said, here's what's going on, please don't use my name. And I trust them and they're doing the right thing, but a judge steps in and goes, actually, no, turn it over. We're going to make it public now. I'm not going to go forward. I'm not going to trust this process and go forward. It's horrible all around. So a decision on that was not made today. The judge is going to take it under advisement and make a decision. The other thing that the state prosecutors want to get disqualified and barred from coming in for the retrial, is the Archer expert. And if you're wondering, what was that? That was the expert who testified in the first trial, that whole team who analyzed the cell phones. One of them was for Jennifer McCabe, who did that infamous search at 2:27 a.m., house long to die in the cold. So again, the state wants that thrown out. And that's a big deal, because that expert is saying this search was done at 2:27 a.m., where Jen McCabe is standing on that hill saying, no, it was done at 6, 7 something in the morning when we found John O'Keefe, and Karen Reed told me to Google how long it takes someone to die in the snow, which that makes no sense. But yeah, that's a big detail that the prosecution has thrown out. So the judge, in regards to that specific ARCA expert, the judge will make a ruling of that by Monday. So we'll know Monday if she's going to allow that particular search. All the other motions, the judge will have by March 7th to decide whether to, again, dismiss the whole trial because of the evidence, the destroying of the evidence, so on and so forth. And then in regards to the journalists, whether to...
I think it's too much, man. I think with the destroying of evidence, Higgins, and this lady, I think it's too much, man. Like they just need to just throw it out, because
they're not going to throw it out. We know that.
Well, you don't think so?
No. Nope. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Because the judge even said today, the second retrial is scheduled to start on April 1st. One of the problems that happened in the first trial, Beckham, and for everybody else who's listening who maybe didn't follow it up front. Hey, PJ, I saw you pop in. Just wanted to say hello. So the picking of the jury, the first trial, they had to go through 400 people to get the jurors that they did, because so many people had already heard about this case.
Oh, okay.
What the hell's going to happen now? You can go to California and say, we want 12 people. They've all heard about this case. They've all heard about it. I don't understand. It's going to be a long process to pick a jury. It's going to be a long
process. Before we move on to the next case, I want to know your thoughts on the destruction of evidence. What do you think it was? What was the? Why do you think it was destroyed?
Hey, Shelly. Good to see you, hon. Why was it destroyed? Oh, I think the reasoning that Hank Brennan's saying about like, oh, the time that elapsed, it just doesn't exist. That's a bullshit answer because you went to trial with this
Say it. Say
the
it.
corruption. The day the mistrial was announced, the prosecutor said that within like an hour, we're going to retry her. And then you go and destroy evidence? What, like,
Okay, but again, give me. Say it. Say it.
what do you
Why?
want me to say? Police
Say it.
cover up?
No.
Incompetence?
Nope.
I don't, okay, I literally don't know what you're trying
That
to
was
get
like
me to
I
say.
said.
Otherwise, I would
It
just say it.
proves that it proves that Karen Reed didn't back under anybody.
Mm, mm. Okay, I get what, yeah.
It
I mean,
has
that
her
was one of the
getting there,
questions,
and
was
it
Trooper
yeah,
Proctor at that vehicle breaking the tail light?
or it has him on the video, right? Or just it's all the same. It proves that she didn't back into anybody.
I mean, some would argue that they disagree with you, but I don't, it stupid. Like, to me, that alone is reasonable doubt. Like, if I was picked for the jury, again, putting all emotions aside, putting all knowledge of this aside, and I'm sitting there watching this trial.
Who's gonna argue with me on that?
Well, there are some people that Karen Reed is guilty, and no matter what you say,
Oh my God.
No, there
Okay.
are.
You have the lead investigator like completely destroying his career.
Oh,
You
I
have
know.
this Higgins guy walking around like that meme of that that meme of that funny looking dude where he's like, somebody goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing. What? Nothing. What am that's Higgins." Um, and then you have a destroying evidence. Like, come on. It's
Look
been
at
three
Capone.
years.
It's okay to waste taxpayer money on a cop cover up. Yeah, it
It's
just,
three. It's been 3 years, Danny. Come
I
on, like
know.
people who,
It's gonna highlight the incompetence. Because
yeah.
all the defenses, if I was sitting there and the prosecution stater saying, believe us, she did this, but we did destroy the video evidence, the original video evidence, but that's okay. Believe us with what?
This is okay. Within the last, since we talked about Karen Reed, this has gotten deeper with
Mm,
the with the Higgins info and the destroying of evidence. It's gotten really deep now.
mm-hmm,
Like we're like in like you can't smell the you know what, and something's wrong with you.
mm-hmm.
Before this, before all this, it was interesting having discussions. It was actually before Proctor.
Yeah.
Before Proctor, it was interesting in having the discussions, and you could argue both sides, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it was equally distributed with arguments, right? But as we every week we kept having the show and discussing it. Then Proctor comes in and it's like boom, right? And then that it shifted everything to him. And then now now it's really deep. Now it's
Mhm.
really deep now. There's no this guy that they hired he's not gonna save him now. There's no way.
Hey, Sam Smith. Yeah, and
What's the guy? What's his name? I always forget that guy's name that they brought in.
who brought in? There's a lot of people that were
I'm
brought
sorry,
in.
the prosecution. They brought in that expert guy. He's had like 40 something years experience. Um,
Oh, I
I forgot. I always
Hank
forget his
Brennan,
name. Is that him? Oh, that is
the,
him.
the
Yeah.
state prosecutor that they brought, or the
Um,
prosecution guy they brought in.
yeah.
Yeah, Hank Brennan.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, now he's gonna start. I'm like, okay, now you're backing yourself in the corner. And what is he gonna do? He can't because
Mhm.
that it wasn't on his watch. It didn't happen on him. He's
Right.
coming in to try to clean up this mess. But
Mhm.
he's walked into something, man. Like really, and he's walked into something. And
Yeah.
um I just don't see it. them getting out of it. It's really deep. It's bad. It's really bad
Yeah.
now.
There's been people that I've talked to here where they're not sure if Karen hit him, and they go through, well, what if, and my response is always, it has, even if you think maybe she did it. I'm not saying I agree. Even if you're thinking, you know what, maybe she did hit him, maybe it was accidental, whatever, it has to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Think of all the doubt that the state gave you. You can't find her. You can't find her guilty. You can't.
The physical evidence doesn't match either. If she would have backed into him or he fell, that doesn't match. Nothing matches. I have seen zero evidence that really points to her being guilty. I have not seen anything.
Yeah,
you have an incompetent lead investigator. You have an incompetent prosecution. You have a viable witness that now is really sketchy. Now that they have him on the phone and moving vehicles, and you have a key component of evidence that was transferred where it should have been kept, but it was transferred, and then to top it off, now you have a very, very key component to evidence that's been destroyed. Come on, man. Seriously.
I want to know who gave the order to destroy it.
Come on. And then Brennan has nothing to do with Proctor.
Right.
He has nothing to do with any of this. He came in
after the mistrial
to help clean up the issue. His best answer, now going back to what you said, is that's what else could he say, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
I bet he sat there and thought for 15 minutes. Oh, what do I say to this? Before answering the question. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing he can say.
So Beckham, long story short, Beckham will be flying up to visit me in April, and we'll be standing outside the Norfolk District Court.
This is insane, man. I think Danny. Oh, I thought you froze.
Yeah, I did freeze.
Oh,
the Wi-Fi is shit.
This is just crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So a few comments in here, and then we'll move to the next one. Capone is saying, dude, they jumped him and dumped him outside unconscious. K-Dog says the dog bit him. That's where I'm kind of going with. Beers is saying it's like the OJ case. They planted evidence at the scene, so how could they find OJ guilty? Yeah. Anyway, we will keep y'all posted. Again, one of the things we're going to find out by Judge Bev on Monday, but other than that.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then the girl, I always forget about the girl doing the Google search about how
Jen McCabe.
Yes, I always forget. Come on, she is another witness that's not credible at all.
Mm-hmm.
You have, yep. I mean, how many on the checklist do we have already? 10 things. That's pretty close to 10.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. To do that search at all. I don't know.
We have 10 things pointing away from Karen Reed.
10? Add an extra 0 to that.
That's really pointing away from her and looking like something very dubious, very somebody, I think Capone said, a police cover-up. And it's either you're covering up incompetence or you're covering up a murder.
Yeah. So we will keep you posted on that. It's just, that was, to hear that comment today, it was wait, what did you just say?
What else could he say?
Destroy the evidence and why it's fine. Oh.
No, but what else could he say?
I know.
It wasn't on his watch.
It was funny.
Or it wasn't even, huh?
Beckham earlier was a little pissy with me in regards to why didn't you tell me they were in court today? And I knew that they were going to argue.
Yeah, I'm over here working, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Karen Reed live. I'm like, wait a minute, is this from January of last year?
I didn't picture it to be this big a deal, or so that's on me. That's my bad. But Yeah, and I, after work,
Come on,
waiting on
Danny.
my
What are
hair
you?
done,
You're
and
like hogging all the. You're hogging all the
I
meat, all the info.
I know when I got that comment and heard that comment, I was like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. And Beckham's gonna be so mad at me for for not watching
Well,
it.
I thought something else was happening. I didn't know it was about the evidence thing destroying the hearing about it and all that. So
All right. Again, I apologize for the Wi-Fi. I see it keep jitting out. So another trial that was a shit show.
oh, don't
Alex
even get me started.
Baldwin. Alex Baldwin. I know you guys liked it when we talked about it before, so it has come up again. Alex Baldwin has now filed a civil lawsuit for malicious prosecution and civil rights violations regarding the fatal shooting of Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer that was on set for that movie Rust. Alec Baldwin is alleging defamation in the suit, saying that the prosecutors and investigators intentionally mishandled evidence as they pursued the case. The defendants named in the lawsuit include Carrie Morrissey and Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Kemerick Altweis, along with 3 investigators from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office and the County Board of Commissioners. The lawsuit says, quote, defendants sought at every turn to scapegoat Baldwin for the acts and omissions of others, regardless of the evidence of the law, end quote. It also says that prosecutors and investigators targeted Baldwin for professional and political gain. So we'll see how this lawsuit goes. I mean, we all remember how it ended and how the prosecution, the prosecution was on the stand. Do you remember that, Beckham?
Yeah. I don't. Does he have a case here? Do you think?
I don't know. I see his point.
I think he. I don't know. I mean,
I don't
okay.
know.
There's a thing going on right now, and it's gonna spill into the next case we're gonna talk about. I think. Let me see the next one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing going on right now, and it's hitting a lot of cases. It's hitting the one we just talked about. It's hitting the Jean Bonnet case. The Jean Bonnet case has become to the forefront again. The one we're about to Idaho. It's the proper gathering of evidence and keeping the evidence safe for being able to present it in the manner of, hey, this is how it was gathered. It was gathered the right way, legally gathered. It was kept the right way, and now we're presenting it. There's steps to actually prove or providing evidence in a case in a criminal court. So a lot of jurisdictions are failing at this. Okay. And a lot of these big cases are, you're looking to see how things were not, there's checklists. Maybe not all the checks were marked correctly on the proper gathering of evidence, right? So it's happening a lot in a lot of cases. And and the only reason we're talking about it is because these high profile cases. And I think he could have something here. He could. And we'll just have to see what the outcome. Because it's
Yeah.
happening a lot, man. Like I said,
Mm.
we can go on and on about in John Bonet, how police really just didn't gather evidence correctly in that one, and it's happening in a lot of these cases, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's where he's going with it. I think that's where he's going with his case, and he could have a good one. We'll have to just see.
I think, and this is just my opinion, I think a lot of it is trying to make a statement and clear his name for the public's end and kind
Yeah,
of
but
get
why
right.
wouldn't you if it was not got right? But why
Oh,
wouldn't you? It was
100%.
if you knew you heard or you were told by somebody, hey man, I know what happened, but look, they didn't even do this. They didn't do it the right way. Then you're gonna be like, wait a minute, what do you mean? And then you're like, wait a minute, they didn't do it the right way, but I got convicted. Oh hell no.
Yeah. I still remember where I was in my house.
Yeah.
Like I was like just puttering around And I remember Paul messaged the two of us and is like, "Are you watching this live right now? The prosecutor's on the stand being questioned." And when, I just
Yeah,
remember thinking, like, what?
exactly. There you go.
That was you never see that. And then the judge just being like, "We're tossing this. It's done." That was wild when that happened. And if any of y'all watching are like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't see
again,
it," go to YouTube and find it and watch it.
again, it's just the evidence is not. It's being unsubstantiated. It's insufficient proof. The way it's but
Yeah.
and everything you have to have it legally gathered, and then you have to gather it correctly, whether it's a scientific, having everything done correctly so the evidence is not contaminated. You're talking about contamination of evidence, right? Whether
Mhm.
it's blood, DNA, or whatever, fingerprints, whatever, right? And then you have to preserve it and able to present it at later, right? So it's like and it's not, I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but if you have a job to do, you do the job right.
Mhm. Yeah, so here's Paul chiming off, but yeah, it go watch it. I want to rewatch it for myself, I'm not going to lie. I want to just rewatch it and be like, I can't you don't see that every day where the prosecutor's sitting on this. It was wild, wild. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Alec Baldwin. We'll keep y'all posted on that, but yeah, go in, and this is a good segue to go into the next case that Beckham has already referenced, and that's Brian Koberger. So, in regards to Koberger, Brian Koberger's defense wants the death penalty off the table. The reason that they want it off the table is because they're saying that awaiting for the drugs for lethal injection on death row, if they are not able to obtain it in a quick manner, is inhumane. So the state of Idaho has made it very clear and wasted no time, basically saying, "Don't worry about it. We'll bring back the firing squad." Like, they're not messing around. So
They
that
have,
kind of shut that
yeah,
up.
yeah. I was gonna say the prosecution has bigger or fish to worry about than that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nothing. Like,
So what we also learned is that the Ada County judge, so Stephen Hippler, who is the judge that's going to be overseeing the Brian Koberger case in trial, has announced that he will release a redacted transcript that happened from a closed door hearing that was held last week. He initially barred this transcript from the public and media, but it's going to be released. So the Judge Hippler told the court officials to hand over the verbatim copies of the unredacted transcript from the sealed hearing that happened on January 23rd to be from both the prosecution and the defense. But he wants the prosecution and defense basically to look it over and recommend any redactions, but then it's up to the judge if they end up redacting what the prosecution and the defense wants redacted. Quote, "The parties will have 14 days to identify those portions of the transcript that should be redacted from the public disclosure, providing a basis for the same," end quote. So the hearing that this is all referring to is regarding the IGG, Forensic Investigative Genetic Genealogy, because the attorneys for Brian Koberger want this evidence completely thrown out. So the
yeah.
defense, sorry, what's that, Beckham?
No, I said yeah. They want it completely gone.
Mm-hmm. The reason being, the defense is arguing that the FBI violated Koberger's Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable search and seizures. But Judge Hippler responded, quote, "I struggle with the idea that DNA left at a crime scene, that there's any expectation of privacy," end quote. Much of the IGG process that had been sealed by the court in the unredacted transcript could give the public new details about exactly how investigators were able to piece together this case in the weeks that followed the murders, and some subsequently were able to track Brian Koberger to his parents' house in Pennsylvania. So the defense is still waiting on Judge Hippler's decision whether to grant a Franks hearing, in which they hope to have the warrants in the case thrown out. So I actually got the definition for what a Franks hearing is for anybody who's unclear about that. Quote, a Frank's hearing is a legal proceeding in a criminal case where you try to traverse a search warrant. Traversing a warrant means that you challenge the truth of the information that is used to support it, end quote. So we will see what copy of this hearing gets put out to the public and if anything is redacted or not from either the state or prosecution side. But I know that Beckham, there's a lot more with this that we didn't touch upon that Beckham has been, we've been talking about with the Brian Koberger case. So.
Yeah, again, it's how they gathered it's how they went about gathering the evidence and having going through the right protocols to getting the evidence where they could have misstepped there. And also contamination of evidence. And again, it's happening a lot, and a lot of discrepancies with how they gathered evidence, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what they're going through with this. And it's not over yet. I guarantee you it's not over yet. And again, was there an actual murder weapon? Do they have a murder weapon?
The murder weapon has never been found.
There you go. Then that's going to go with what they're arguing about, because they're going to be like, well, how there's evidence well, first of all, it wasn't gathered correctly. Second of all, it's contaminated. And third, there's no murder weapon. So why are you looking at my client in the first place? I'm just saying that right now, right? I'm just saying that right now. And now it's really coming, towards the forefront that a lot of these witnesses, including the survivors, their credibility is being questioned a lot. A lot of what they've already put out doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't with the crime scene. And it's almost, and I've kind of dug in a little bit deeper into the backstories of some of these kids and who they had relations with. And this could be something more bigger on a bigger scale than just serial, like somebody just coming in just for a thrill kill. It almost doesn't seem like a thrill kill. So, yeah, this case it's getting really interesting, and it's gonna probably surpass. As of before, nothing could surpass the Karen Reed one, but this one's really, really getting interesting, because now you're looking at not having possible evidence, no weapon. The survivors' stories don't align with the actual physical evidence or description of the crime, the crime scene. Nothing's adding up. It's shifting. This case is really shifting too. Again, we're talking about the gathering, preservation of evidence, all of that stuff. It's becoming a thing, and now I'm bringing up the whole the credibility of people involved in the case, and whether it's witnesses or survivors or whatnot. And it's just it's shifting to me. There's really begun, and I told you about this shift a long time ago. You didn't believe me. I told you about this shift like 6 months ago, and you're like, no way, they got him. I don't think so. There's a major shift in this case, and it's going to be sad some of the truths that could possibly come out of these backstories to people that were involved in this case. It's unfortunate, but it has to come forth, though.
That happens at every single trial.
Right.
So that is not unique to this case.
No, it's not, but it's shifting though from 6 months ago.
Yeah. So, okay. There's a few guys that have comments on this. I want to Sam Smith is saying the only mystery to the Idaho murders is Koberger's motivation. What in his past would point in that direction? That's one of the things they're looking at. I know there's been a lot of women that have said that he was creepy. And so, but again, that does not equal going from potentially nothing to murdering 4 college co-eds. Tony Stewart says, good question. He remembers you saying that.
Yeah,
Tony remembers you saying that. Jeffrey Boyle, what about the DNA on the knife sheath? I'm in agreement with you, Jeffrey Boyle, on that. Beckham, what do you say to that?
Possible contaminated DNA. It's not even gonna. That's
How
what they're arguing about. Well, not contaminated, but the whole, what's it called? That whole thing that they're the IgG process, or is that's what it's called, right?
Yes, so they were able
Yeah,
to match it because a relative of
right.
Koberger's uploaded
Correct.
it to like one of those genealogy
Yeah, and
sites.
there's an issue with the processing of that. I read
Yes.
it somewhere. So there's an actual processing issue with the validity of that process. So if it's not a 100% pure process and there's question in validity in the validity of it, you're gonna have to. It's possible they're gonna have to throw it out.
Well, that's how they were able to find D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer, was
They
through
yeah, but every state's
genealogy.
different, Danny.
How is that different?
That's just what I've read. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying
Well,
that's what
neither
that's.
one of us
Well,
are.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That there's a question in the validity of the gathering of it and the processing of it to get where they're at with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're fighting for. Because
Right.
it's
And
not just flat out evidence. Like it's not just boom, that's him. It's him. It's 100% his DNA. There's a question in the validity of the process of the validity of the process on how they gathered it and how they processed it to show that it's him.
you did make, Jeffrey, I'm still in 100% agreement with you on this, but I will give this to Beckham. There is the murder weapon has not been found. It's not going to be found at this point. It's not going to be found. It is what it is.
Well, it might. You never know. I'm just saying.
I mean, he drove, think about it, there was a lot of driving, and it could be anywhere. I don't think they're going to find it. Sam Smith, let Beckham
Yeah, and also
mansplain.
what about the credibility of the survivors and their story is not even matching with the actual crime scene, with the timeline. There's a lot of misinformation. There's just misinformation everywhere. You guys, everybody's just making this guy. Remember, if this was you on trial, you would want everything to be like you said. What is your saying?
Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's your saying,
Well, that's
right?
the
Yeah.
law. That's just
Well,
not my
I know,
saying.
but
That's the
I'm
law.
just adding a zing to it because a
Right.
lot of the information does not match up.
Yeah, Jeffrey's saying, Danny, I remember chatting with you when this case started and it's still going on. Yeah, Jeffrey, I remember
And
that.
it's like,
Absolutely.
is it 3 years? Right? It's also 3 years or
Idaho,
longer.
oh, it's longer.
Is
It's
it longer?
longer. I want to get the exact dates. I don't want to. I'm just
Capone. I'm telling you, man, it does not add up. Their backgrounds also
November
like
13th, 2022. So it's been not fully 3 years. Wow, it feels like longer. November 13th, 2022. What is Capone saying? Roommates were in on it. They're so shady. Capone, that's what Capone's saying is that's one of the big things people have questions on is the surviving roommates. They were in there for hours
look at their
before
backgrounds.
leaving their rooms. And yeah, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Beckham is definitely looking at a lot of potentially things that call into question reasonable doubt. And I hear exactly what you're saying.
I mean,
So,
you're talking about backgrounds that deal with criminality and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to go into that, but
mhm.
that is out there.
It will be it's always brought up in cases. It will be brought up in this trial for sure. So we'll keep you all posted
And you
on
thought
this.
you thought this one was tight 6 months ago.
I'm not saying that I changed my opinion.
Well, no, no, I know you got
I'm
to stick.
able to take
You
a
got to
step
stick
back
with
and
it.
say, I see where you're coming from.
At least you're able to do that because 6 months ago you were like, no.
I'm always able to do that. I would make an excellent juror. I really would.
The
I would
fact
make
you have
sure
the fact that you have a true crime channel negates you
I'd
being.
never get picked for anything.
I know. I know.
No. They would be like, because
Yeah,
you know
no.
why? I'm also really mean. Like y'all know I'm an eye for an eye and then some. So, and God forbid
Yeah,
if
that's a
there's
good point,
a cat
Sam.
involved, if someone harmed a cat, I'd be like death row immediately.
Okay, Sam, that's another point I forgot to mention. That's another point that Sam that's bringing up right there.
They never
Yes, that's
explained
the
how they
other
initially
thing.
make. Okay.
Right, there you go. That's the other big one. Yep. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. I just forgot to talk about that. I'm forgetting something I'm missing, and that's what it was.
Thank you, Sam. Tony Stewart says police tactics are being in question more and more. Yeah, that's exactly what Beckham has been talking about all episode.
I would not want to be. I already told you guys. I would never want to be a
Law
murder
enforcement or
detective.
police.
No, murder. No, a detective on a murder scene. It's a lot. It is a lot, man. And you're talking. Can you imagine just how hard it is for one? Like you show up on, there's a murder, and there's just one. You're dealing with just one body. Can you imagine multiple bodies? Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not an easy profession. So
No,
for those,
no. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that go. I mean, there's a lot to go in that goes into it.
so for those who do it and do it, who are honest and true to their profession.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah.
More like shout out to you. Honestly, shout out to you. Tony's wait, let's go. Capone, Danny totally believed it was just this one dude.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Capone.
I'm not
Thank
denying
you.
that.
Capone is
Yes.
Team Beckham all the way.
I'm still on the evidence on the knife sheath. I will 100% be watching this trial, and that's one of the things I pride myself on. I might still think, okay, I agree with I still think my opinion's right, but I'm able to take a step back and be like, but I see this, or but I see that. And then at the end of the day, if I think there's, if there's reasonable doubt, there's reasonable. I will be 100% honest, 100% honest.
Hey, do you remember? Okay, hold on real quick before we move on to
Yeah.
the next one. Do you remember like 6 months when we were having that's the same discussion? I was like, wait a minute, Danny, but the defense keeps saying there's like they have an ace in their pocket or something. Is this the ace that they have? Or they still have the ace that they haven't shown yet?
I remember the comment about an ace in the pocket regarding the Manson case.
No, it was this one because I remember them saying it. The defense has something that they're holding on to, and I'm wondering if this was what it was, the whole DNA thingy. But
I don't remember. You might be right. I just don't remember.
It might have been this whole DNA thing.
Tony Stewart, I'm not 100% if I want Danny on my jury. That's awesome. James Watson, Danny would get kicked off the jury for high-fiving the defendant every morning. We don't call her the hanging judge for nothing. Jeffrey saying Kohberger's a strange dude. I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not saying that means murderer, but
I agree with him with Jeff on that.
Capone's asking, was Kohberger MK Ultra? No, not that I've read.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody's everybody.
I know. I've been hearing. It's like, come on, like that. Okay, can anybody hypnotize you? Ever gone to those hypnotizing shows and you're like, is it really real? Or do you ever watch those hypnotizing shows?
Did one of my cats just cough up a hairball? Sorry. I thought I heard some. I've never been. I've known people that have gone and said, "Oh my God, it was so real." Until I see it or experience. I don't know.
Oh my God, I'd be like, I would just start laughing and be like, you can't hypnotize me.
Hey, Tish. Carol Wayman, hello, is saying, didn't they have a video of a car like his seen in the neighborhood? Yes. And around the times that the crimes would have been, yes.
But it's not his car.
That's one of the things the defense will say is, how can you prove, yes, that's the same make and model?
There's a black, I drive a black SUV. There's like a million black SUVs everywhere.
Right. That's one of the things they're going to argue because it's not like they have a license plate on camera where that would be like, all right.
Right. Then you'd be like, okay, it's clear cut, close it. And I'd be like, Danny, you're right.
James Watson, I have never agreed with you more in my life than.
Dude, how can they be coming for them when I am them? What's wrong with y'all?
You were not a cop. No, I would never dox what you do. You are not a cop.
I'm not a cop. No.
No, someone like
no, but really a good that's a true shout out, man, to the detectives that work like, murder cases. That's tough.
And I just want to, along with what Beckham is saying, we've throughout this episode or the show been talking, which there is a lot of corrupt, incompetence, corruption, which intentional, so on and so forth. Put them out of the equation. There are a lot of hardworking, honest, good law enforcement detectives, so on and so forth. The crime scene analysts, you name it. Like,
oh yeah, there's also
there's
also the medical
doing
side.
the right thing.
Right. There's also the medical side on a crime scene. You're talking about the
coroners, forensic,
all those people, man.
And sadly, all it takes is like those few rotten apples to make everyone look bad, and that sucks.
Right. That's true.
And also, Renee,
whenever there's the incompetence where it's like you have all this huge team on site, and everybody has a job, right? Everybody has a particular job, and everybody has their own, their own units or whatever involvement, and then it could just be one slip up or one, like you said, conjunction with incompetence, and it just throws everything out. All that work just goes out.
All that work by everyone.
By everybody, yes, correct.
Yeah. Renee says, but he did it. I don't know, but I do think he surely did it. I'm with you. Capone, he did it, but he did do all that and stay in the house for hours without the help of the roommate. Oh, okay. Okay, you're talking with Michelle. Renee, sorry. Beckham has too many connections.
That's true.
Well, all his connections are not subscribed to Danny After Dark, that's for sure. Otherwise, I'd have about 500 more subscribers. I don't know. Beckham, what is that light? Your candles?
Oh yeah, you can't see them tonight.
No, it's dim.
There you go.
All right.
Wait, what is Sam talking about?
They got him via RFID readers, but they don't want to publicize that. So then how do you know that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is a big time. There's a big time. This is a big time murder case. I think they would put everything on deck. Like they would,
but not everything before the trial.
No,
it's just imagine if they don't want to publicize this, but I know this. Sam, source. All right, let's get to what I think is the case of a lifetime. Beckham already knows where this is going. Shout out to the Liz who sent this to me this week. I think it's the best case. If we ever were to stop doing True Crime and Chill, I want to end it on this case. So the article title was Connecticut man caught driving 130 miles per hour, quote, wanted to get home to see his cat, end quote. Beckham, what is going through your head right now?
I don't know. Hey, it's almost I don't know. Maybe he was hoping the cop would be a cat lover. I don't know.
I would give that man a police escort and be like, sir, but there's more to it. There's more to it.
Exactly.
So Connecticut State Police troopers, which Connecticut's by me, Massachusetts. So they arrested a man caught driving 130 miles per hour down I-395. Police say that a trooper was nearby conducting speed enforcement on 395 South early morning when a car drove by at an extremely high rate of speed. The trooper clocked this vehicle's speed more than 130 miles per hour. The driver, which I'm going to butcher his name, was identified as Logan Murmozarafi. When police and the trooper asked Logan why he was driving so fast, he said he, quote, wanted to get home to see his cat, end quote. However, Logan smelled of alcohol, had glossy eyes, had slurring speech, and was taken into custody after he failed a series of field sobriety tests. Logan has been charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence, reckless driving as well. He was released on a $500 bond and is pending court next week, Friday the 6th.
Oh, it's not like I'm laughing because I'm thinking of something else, but dude, if he was driving under the influence, that's really bad. You could have killed somebody or himself or hurt somebody else. I'm pretty sure he'll get whatever, you know, that's coming. But the one time I've thought about it, and I almost became a police officer a long time ago, but the only time I might give somebody like let them go, I've thought about it, would be if they weren't of course speeding, but they were driving illegally in an HOV lane with just one person rather than two.
Mm.
And I happened to, okay, you pulled them over, like, well, you know, you're driving without the, you know, illegally in the HOV lane. And literally, if the driver literally was like a Star Wars fan and he like waved his hand and said, "These aren't the droids you're looking for," if he did that to me, I would laugh and I'd be like, "All right, cool, you're never, don't worry about it, just go." That, that would be funny, and I would let him go on that. But you can't do that on this guy. This guy was drunk for driving, so I mean, you
Right.
know. But
I
yeah,
100% do not condone drunk driving because, like you said,
right, yeah.
he could have killed
But
himself. He could have killed somebody else. Like,
right, of course.
I'm not taking light of
The
that.
cat story part of it
It
is
was
what
the
made you,
Liz
yeah,
sending and me seeing that title. I'm like, oh my God, the man wanted to rush home to get to his cat. Like, that's
right.
amazing. I support that. And then reading more, you're like, ooh, ooh. I wish the article actually would confirm. Does the man even have a cat? I wish
Yeah,
it
you might,
confirmed. Like, imagine if he didn't even own a cat.
right.
But anyway, so apparently, if you guys looked him up, he sure doesn't look innocent. Dude looks like a pussy. Thanks, Sam Smith. Oh, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Jesus.
I would be like, all right, that's good. Bye. You got me on that one.
So anyway, that was just a little chuckle to throw in there for tonight. That headline, I was like, when Liz sent that, I was like, oh my God. Look at Tony Stewart. The judge should dismiss the case.
He can't. No, you can't. Dude, the dude was driving 130 miles an hour drunk.
I know.
You
I know.
can't.
Before I got to that part, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my
Right.
gosh. This man's amazing. This man is amazing. And then you get to that and you're like,
Now,
not
maybe like running a stop sign, like on like when there's nobody around or something. Okay, like okay, we all do it, right, or whatever.
Mhm.
Or a red light when there's nothing that's like gonna put anybody in like danger. You would be like, okay, that's kind of funny. I'll give you a
Mm.
warning, type of thing.
So, all right, now that we got that lightheartedness out of the way. So, last case here. Look at Tony Stewart. He is still a hero to the cat world. I'm going
It's
to
probably
start
an
that, Tony
orange
Stewart.
cat. It's probably one of those crazy. Aren't the orange ones crazy?
No cats are crazy.
Oh, well, all the videos, the black ones seem to be more chill than the white ones are. The white ones are a little scrappy. The orange ones are the ones flying everywhere, man. They're like doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
What the hell are you
And
talking
then the
about?
gray cats are always asleep. The cat videos I watch, and like the different color fur, they have different personalities. That's what I'm seeing. Gray ones are always sleeping. The black ones are pretty chill. And the orange ones are just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What other colors are there?
I don't know, but keep going because I want to rip this apart to shreds.
I don't even own a cat. I'm just, just seeing just calling what I see on the videos.
Why hasn't
See, the
anybody in
calico cats are the evil satanic. Exactly. Those are the orange ones. Thank
I
you,
didn't
Sam.
realize you spent so
Thank you.
much time of your day sitting watching cat videos, Beckham.
See, the orange ones love. See, they all see Capone is saying the orange ones hate Mondays.
That was Garfield.
I told you.
Weirdo.
I told you the orange cats are the devil.
The calico ones are evil,
The
satanic.
gray ones are always chill and
Yes,
sleeping.
I know. Check. Mine are, look at Tish. Mine are stripy and are insane, but super smart. Beckham, how much time in a day do you sit watching cat videos? You've never said that to me before.
I don't know. I've watched cat videos all the time.
I have a joke I want to make to that, but it's not appropriate for on camera. So, and I think y'all know where I'm going with that. All
So
right,
everybody is in agreement about the orange cat. Thank you. I'm not crazy.
Whoa. No, you are, but all right. All right.
And I don't even own a cat. That's what's funny.
Where's Shelly?
I don't know.
I have a feeling I'll be messaging your girlfriend after the show and be like, we need to
James
chat about your boyfriend.
Orange cats are the gingers of the feline world. They should be banned.
Jeez, what?
See, I told you. I called it right. Thank you, guys. Man, everybody's team Beckham tonight. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, Tish, I need to add to what you just said. Cat videos are an important part of a balanced breakfast. Y'all, there is a cat video festival that happens every year. It used to happen before COVID. I don't know if it's happened since COVID or not. And every time it was in Boston, I would go, and basically you buy a ticket and you're in a large kind of show theater, and there's a big screen and they show cat videos the whole time. And like part of your admission pay goes to like the local nonprofit shelters that are there assisting. I used to go every single year and it was so much fun. And there was like categories for cat videos. In case you guys are like, Danny, what the hell? Are any of you who watch this channel regular really surprised? I'm a cat lady, but oh my God, I loved it. I didn't go when it was in Lowell. I went when it was there was a few in Boston because I remember that it benefited I think it's the shelter BFF, Boston Forgotten Felines, I want to say.
Yeah.
Sounds like no, it's a fun festival. It's really fun. It's really fun if you're into cats. But anyway, let's move on because I don't want to hear Beckham talk about cat stuff anymore. It's just infuriating.
Why? I thought you would be like happy.
Because you're so full of misinformation.
Oh, I'm just telling you what I see, man. If I had to categorize it under Beckham's vision of cat videos, that's what I've noticed.
No, it's not. It's everywhere. It's in other states too. I just, because I live in Mass, would go to the ones here. But it is.
I like it when they like one of them sleeping and the other one comes by and be like, "You're not supposed to be sleeping right now," and it just starts punching it on the head. I think those are funny.
So basically, the one sibling or whatever is bothering the other one.
Yeah, they just walk up and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're not supposed to be." The other one's like so comfortable looking, just like sleeping, and it walks up on it and it's like, "Wait a minute, you're not supposed to be sleeping right now," and it just starts beating up on it. Oh, those crack me up.
My mind is just I'll be messaging your girlfriend. All right, Alexander Brothers. So, Beckham, are you familiar with the Alexander Brothers?
No, I was reading through the notes. This is crazy. Like, where did these guys come from?
Oh gosh.
Now I gotta go like research them because I don't know what they look like. Like they're just a bunch of party guys.
Yeah, Tish.
Yeah.
So okay. There's a lot. This is, for those who don't know this case, this is the rabbit hole that y'all need to go down. So let's educate because this is wild.
I don't even know who they are, to be honest with you. I was looking, I was like, whoa. It sounds something from it sounds like a crazy party binge that lasted like from the 70s and 80s and I just picture a bunch of cocaine everywhere. So, I don't know.
There's a lot of similarities of their crimes with Puff Daddy. Not saying that they cross paths, but a lot of the manner, it's been similar.
Okay. We're going there.
Aspects.
Okay, we're going in that direction.
We're going in that direction.
Oh, okay.
And I'll explain the details. But yeah, Nancy Grace, who I know like you either love her or hate her, she calls them the new ditties. Which I actually think is quite funny. Anyways, all right. So last month there's 3 wealthy brothers, the Alexanders, who were accused of drugging and then sexually assaulting and raping dozens of women across multiple states. Tal Alexander is 38 years old. Orrin Alexander is 37 years old. They together are brokers serving New York and Miami. Oren is an identical twin to, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name, Alon. It's spelled Alon. So again, Tal is 38, and Oren and Alon are 37-year-old identical twins. It is Tal and Oren who are They are brokers in New York and Miami. All right. So they were arrested on December 11th in Miami Beach and have since remained in federal custody. Law enforcement officers have now interviewed over 40 women. These women reported being, quote, forcibly raped or sexually assaulted by at least one of the Alexander brothers, end quote. In many of these alleged instances, quote, one or more of the Alexander brothers drugged their victims prior to rape, end quote. Prosecutors have argued against setting bail for the brothers, whose, quote, incentives to flee are through the roof. This is due to the Alexander brothers having significant foreign connections, and they're very, very wealthy, so that financially they would have the means also to do so. The judge did deny bail. He found that the Alexander brothers do pose a flight risk and a risk to the community. Each of the brothers, again, all three, have been separately accused by at least 10 women of forcible rape between 2002 or 2003 and 2021. Authorities now say that, and Beckham, I can't wait to get your thoughts on this once I kind of break it down. Authorities now say that there's new video evidence in the case that shows the, quote, depraved, end quote, nature of their alleged crimes. This information is now public. However, it was actually discovered back on December 11th during an executed search warrant for Tal's apartment in Manhattan's Billionaires Row. So during the search, during the search, multiple hard drives were discovered and seized, including one with a large quantity of sexually explicit videos and pictures. So, of course, that is implying that some of these sexual assaults that occurred were filmed, like pictures, videos, and that one of the brothers kept footage of that. Let's see. The apartment was previously shared by Oren and Tal, and that would explain the photos and videos that were found on the hard drive in a closet that also appeared to include belongings from Oren. The seized photos and videos depicted, quote, at least Oren, Alon, and a third party recording or photographing themselves with women in states of intoxication and undress, end quote. In multiple videos, quote, the women appear initially unaware that they were being recorded and became upset and attempted to hide or flee from the camera after realizing they were being filmed, end quote. Other videos found in Tal's apartment show Alon, Oren, and other men engaged in sexual contact with women, quote, who are visibly under the influence of alcohol and other substances, end quote. At least one of the brothers and another man physically manipulated women's bodies in order to have sex with them, while the women did not actively participate in the sexual activity or turned away. Prosecutors are saying the fact that the video versions of the trophies of the defendant's criminal conduct were found in Tal Alexander's residence as recently as last month suggests that the defendants have not closed the door on their criminal conduct, meaning this has not only started back in around 2002, 2003, but has been carrying on through to basically present times. Prosecutors allege that the Alexander brothers, quote, worked together and with others known and unknown to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape, end quote, victims in New York, Miami, and elsewhere. All three brothers, again, have been charged, so specifically with one count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking and a separate count of sex trafficking of one woman by force, fraud, or coercion. Tal got an additional charge of sex trafficking with a second victim. So as part of their sex trafficking conspiracy, the Alexander brothers, quote, engaged in a persistent pattern of rape and sexual assault, which included both pre-planned trips in events for which the defendants would recruit women to attend and then raped and sexually assaulted them, as well as opportunistic rapes and sexual assaults of numerous victims that they happened to encounter by chance, end quote. A couple more points, y'all. According to the charges in the indictment, the three Alexander brothers basically conspired in these sex trafficking schemes since at least 2010. But the prosecutors have alleged that their sexual violence against women actually goes back more than 20 years. The defense attorneys for the brothers are arguing that the relationships with all of the alleged victims were consensual. The judge made a comment, and I could see this one comment coming back to bite in the ass. The Judge Caproni said the women in the videos appear visibly incapacitated, adding, quote, "In my view, that is rape," end quote. The Alexander brothers are still in custody in Florida, and they're going to be moved to New York. They're likely to be housed in the same Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, where who's being held there? Diddy and Luigi Mangione. So the next status conference in the case is scheduled for January 29th. So a judge saying, basically putting out there, in my view, that's rape. That's kind of like, ugh. You're kind of already putting out there.
Yeah, that's what I thought about as soon as you said it. Now,
all right, you've never heard of this case, so I want to hear all of your thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's just like everything you've said. It's like oh man, just the kind of like the Diddy thing. You feel empowered, money protected. You're protected. You get away with a lot of things that normal, people wouldn't. Just I was looking at the indictment. Yeah, it's by the United States District Court, so the District Court, Southern District of New York, which is the case, and the U.S. attorney that's over that district court is Damian Williams, and he is the lead, the U.S. attorney that's doing the Diddy case. So that's why you're seeing the crossover, right? So this guy's got two major cases to work, or he's now overseeing two major cases. At least what I know. But yeah, I mean, this is again, this is just unfortunate. In the indictment, you see the highlighted part about the sex trafficking, forced fraud, coercion. You have 2 counts. Also the statutory allegations, and it goes back a long time. Mm-hmm. You also see the forfeiture, the forfeiture or allegations about giving up everything. If you're found guilty, all property and everything will belong to the U.S. government. Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they're going after them, just like Diddy. So that's the crossover with Diddy's. You have the same office going, trying to bring justice to the victims.
But there's also some similarities in the nature of the crimes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah, because you're talking about the money, the acts. Remember, I was telling you
the sex trafficking, the drugging, the recording.
Access. Sure. Right. And the access to different types of, venues. You're talking about the club scene, the party scene, where you're gonna have access to the women, that type of thing, where you wouldn't need to do any of this. There would be no need. I mean, that's what I don't understand. It's sometimes it's just hard to kind of wrap around. Maybe it's too easy. So it's like
it's all about power and control.
Right. It's all about power because, like I said, they have the money, they have the wealth, they have the access. Like you're pretty much already won at the game. What you need it's almost like you need a challenge, and that's unfortunate for them. The challenge is committing these horrendous crimes against women, and that's the thing. And that hopefully that Damian Williams will bring justice.
Yeah.
I had never heard of them though. That's why this is crazy. But yeah, it does cross the Diddy It's
it's
parallel with
been,
Diddy's, basically.
yeah, it's been on the radar, but it's been ramping up more and more. Tony Stewart agrees. What a stupid statement to make by the judge.
I know. I
Because
was like, oh, yeah. I
you
was
know
like,
their attorneys are going to argue that judge's comment is already putting out to the public that they're guilty.
no.
It's that wasn't. I mean, we all know that, but for somebody in power to make that statement,
It might not
not
really
good.
do anything, but we'll see.
Yeah, it might not, but it's just like, oh
Yeah,
man.
no, yeah, there's a snag in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So a little comical end on this. It just comical because it's just ridiculous. So the Alexander brothers, their parent, again, very, very wealthy, very wealthy. Their parents offered to basically bail them out and say, they'll put them in was it like a penthouse condo or something like that? I want to say in Miami. But it was one of those, don't worry, it won't overlook the beach. And it's like, is that supposed to be like harsh living conditions? Like, no, it was just kind of like, how odd. I understand them thinking, I mean, not just one, not just two, but three of their kids are arrested for this. You got to stop and think, come on. But at the end of the day, a parent, I'm sure they're going to try to think like our kids never could have done this. And maybe they do fully believe their kids are innocent. And again, innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. But it's one of those like, how out of touch are you if you're thinking, judge, don't worry, we'll make sure that they're monitored and they'll be in it's just like, wait, what?
I'm telling you, man, I really like this part of the indictment, the forfeiture allegations part of it, to where they're looking to seize everything, property, personal, that they had during while committing these offenses. Anything traceable, whether it's property, sum of money, anything like that, and then also the substitute assets provision to also limit or not being able to transfer anything to anybody in like the third person, or just kind of like move things, or moving assets around to hide that stuff because now you're in trouble, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I like that portion of the those portions of the indictment. It's probably something that's probably normal, but yeah, they're really putting that the clamps on them for sure.
Yeah. So this will be interesting. And it's very interesting how we're hearing more and more about people that are being arrested, brought into custody, and going to where Puff Daddy's being held. I mean, it's just very interesting. It's very interesting that there's going to be so many cases that we're kind of going to be following, and they're all kind of being held in the same place, which is, yeah. So
Now,
keep
you
you
think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Or
it's
just
I
it's
just
just
find
interesting?
it's interesting that
Oh,
it's
okay.
all kind of happening
Well,
in
at
the
least
same area.
maybe like the three, let's just put it out there. It's Diddy, Linguini, and these brothers. So I don't think any sort of I don't know how to call it, ghost recon access group will be able to knock off of all these all these people in trouble all in the same week. You know what I mean? You know what
Oh
I'm
god,
saying? You know what I'm saying? Like no one will probably be like found dead in their cell. That's what I'm talking about.
Epstein's.
Epstein. There you
Someone
go.
made a comment a lot earlier in the show, and I
Yeah.
forget who made it about, yeah, so like Epsteinum, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna. Well, there's too many of them to go over. You can't just, there's now. That's what I'm thinking about. So now you can't. There's too many of them being housed in the same what do you call it?
Correctional facility.
The same facility. I was gonna say the same row or the same. They're all in the same area. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the word, but anyway.
No,
You know
I
what I mean?
know exactly we know what you mean. Oh man. Sam Smith is saying Danny look into the recent killing of Border Patrol agent at Vermont. Crazy one. Liz was going to be talking about that tonight. That was one of the things that she had been researching, but again, not able to come on tonight. Sick kiddo. So And I don't know much about it, but no, so you're right, Sam Smith. I do need to look about that. I bet they are watching Danny After Dark this evening in the cell block.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me tell you, they're all in the same cell block in the same hallway. There's no way they're all gonna just one morning be like, oh, they've all been Epstein in a row.
God. It's just
It ain't happening. So in a sense, it's almost like a good thing, Danny. They're all in the same area.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
almost like
I
a
don't know.
safety precaution, right?
Ugh. Save the community. So yeah, this case has been unfolding. We've been learning more and more. Arkham Asylum.
I was thinking that. I was going to say that, but I was like, no,
Capone.
I didn't think
I'm
anybody was
give
going
that
to
a
get it.
star. So yeah, that's what we got for tonight's True Crime and Chill. It's been a little bit, Beckham. I'm glad you're back tonight. I would say it's been sad without you, but that's a lie. But no, I'm just joking. It's always
Jesus.
good.
Hey, everybody, go get the merch. I'm just playing.
No, you're not. No, you're not. All right. No, I have it as a banner. Let's put it up there. Danny After Dark merch, if any, or Mr. Beckham. Or Mr. Beckham.
Don't forget
Get your
about
Mr.
me.
Beckham candle and shirt. So, or the Liz too. The Liz has a shirt. I actually wore her shirt when I went to the gym this week. So, yeah, representing for my friend. So anyway, we will be back next week. So I have a book review in the works for early next week to do and to cover. I'm really excited about that. And then next week's True Crime and Chill. And I'm sure there'll be updates to a lot of this.
I was going to say real quick with the Karen Reed thing. I know what's going on today. Is it continuing, or that they're going to? Who's going to take a 3-day weekend break?
I don't know who's going to take.
I saw somebody. I don't know which case it is. Somebody was commenting. I don't understand why they got to take a 3-day week. 3-day week. I guess that they're going to be off on Monday. So it's like, I don't know which case. I don't know whether it's the Koberger or the Karen Reed one, but
I don't know offhand. But one of the motions for Karen Reed, the judge should have an answer by Monday. Like one of the things that the defense
maybe it wasn't that one
arguing. Yeah. So we'll have at least somewhat of a little bit of an update.
Batman.
But
I was gonna say Batman can't show up to take them all out at one time.
Gosh. I just want to show one more time, and again, shout out to my dance company for oh my god, I'm obsessed with this
microphone. Why don't you have it closer to you?
Well, I thought about it's just like I feel like it's distracting.
Like right there. I don't think it. Okay, ask the chat. Is it distracting?
It's beautiful. I love all the different colors. I find it distracting.
You do sound different than where you were.
I do?
Yeah, it's a little
better, worse?
No, I don't think. I mean, it's just a little different. I don't think it doesn't really. It's not a bad thing. But at least you can. You know how you can see their mics. Some people have them like hanging in their front, like right here.
Like Paul did.
Yeah, like Paul has his coming across the whole room from like the wall across.
His is on like a 20-foot extension cord.
Yeah, well, it's like a music one or something, but yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll play around with where
it's part of the
have it, and I can change like how the lighting goes. This thing is just
the purple one matches your whole
aesthetic.
Yeah, your line, your clothes, your drawing, the logo.
Yeah, I'll have to play around with it and see, but
yeah, you see, Capone says it looks cool and then you sound better. You do have a different sound when you have it closer to you.
Adjustable shrine lighting. I'm gonna give that a star. I'll play around with it. We'll see. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me and Beckham for the True Crime and Chill this week. And we will see you next week. I'm already guessing that there'll be a lot to uncover and a lot of updates because that's just the way we are right now. Well, other than that, thank you again, Beckham, for joining. Honestly, good to have you here. I do miss you when you're not here. I'll give you that. All right, everybody. Until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness